Hello and welcome to today's Clindata Insight Pharma Talks webinar series, CDISC SHARE. Clindata Insight is a biometrics consulting firm based in the San Francisco Bay Area, specializing in biostatistics, statistical programming, CDISC implementation, big data for life science, and talent solutions. On today's webinar, Kevin Lee will go over how to use CDISC SHARE metadata. I'd like to start off by introducing Kevin. Kevin Lee is the Director of Data Science at Clindata Insight. Kevin has been involved in two different CDISC SHARE teams, the CDISC SHARE Atom team and a CDISC SHARE Concept team, for a year and a half. On the Atom team, he helped build the metadata model, and on the Concept team, Kevin helped to map the concepts to SDDM. Kevin has 10 years of CDISC experience and has given more than 20 presentations on CDISC. Before I hand over the presentation to Kevin, I would like to give a few housekeeping announcements. From now until the end of the call, all attendees will be put on mute. If you have a question at any time, please submit it via the question box located at the top left-hand corner of your webinar screen. Questions will be answered after Kevin completes the presentation in the order received. In addition, this webinar will be recorded and placed on our website. The webinar will end in about 45 minutes, but if there are a lot of questions, we can stay a little longer. If we cannot get to all the questions by the end of the hour, all remaining questions will be answered offline by Kevin, and these answers will be placed on the website with the recorded webinar and PDF slides. With that, I would like to hand the presentation over to Kevin. Kevin, you should be receiving control of the presentation now.
Thanks, Marlene. Could you hear me good?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Good morning for those in West Coast, and good afternoon for those in East Coast. Thank you so much for joining our webinar on CDISC SHARE. One of the joy that we could enjoy in our lives is actually working with the great people. And Clindata, we have such a wonderful colleagues, very experienced, professional, and such a nice people. And when you're actually preparing this webinar together, we had so much fun because all of us working so hard and actually helping each other. So I'd like to take this time to thank our team, especially Marlene, you just heard, who oversaw all those operations for this webinar, and Tommy, who put up beautiful slides for me, and Pong, who is our company leader and president, who actually oversaw this webinar process. On any project, if we are able to work together and share our knowledge together, we could accomplish a lot of great things in the projects. That is what CDISC SHARE is about. CDISC SHARE is an easy way to exchange and share knowledge and also standards, so the industry could be brought together and work together. So I'm very excited to discuss about CDISC SHARE today, and also Clindata transitions. We will have fun today. So before we start our presentation, we'd like to talk about disclaimers. This presentation are solely done by Clindata, and it was not reviewed or endorsed by the CDISC. We're gonna start talking about CDISC SHAREs, what it's about, and what it contained, and how it works. Then we will discuss about eSHARE, which is export from SHARE. Then we will show eSHARE page, and we do some demo. That is actually a fun part. And then we also talk about CDISC SHARE future plans, such as REST API pilot, that I'm extremely excited about. And we will finish our talk with a final thought and the questions. CDISC SHARE is pretty much a share health and research electronic library. It is a metadata repository that CDISC team developed, integrate, govern the CDISC standard data, and also sponsors are able to download the CDISC metadata. let's see how CD standards are organized. Actually, it starts with the ISO 11179 metadata model, which is international standards to represent metadata in metadata repository, which is MDR. CD standard model actually contained a couple models. CD foundational, PA standards, and semantic. CD foundational is pretty much about the standard we know about, such as STTM, ATOM, and the CDISC. And therapeutic area standards, there are currently about 11 therapeutic area standards, such as diabetes, biology, or asthma. So we strongly recommend to look at these therapeutic standards because this therapeutic area standard contained all the standards from concept, collection, STTM, and ATOM. So if you have a certain therapeutic area in your company, you could pretty much follow these therapeutic standards, how they use the standards, and how they implement those standards in the therapeutic area. And this pretty much tell you about end-to-end CDISC implementations on this therapeutic area. And CDISC SHARE also export to metadata, to Excel, ODM, Defender.xml, and RDF, and also PDF document. If you look at CDISC SHARE functional perspective, there are two functional foundations. One is iShare, and another one is eShare. iShare is pretty much interactive share. That is a tool used by CD standard team to develop, to govern, to manage, to store standard metadata. eShare is export from share. It is a website that has all the standards published and contained, so you could download easily. And we're going to show about this eShare demo in later our presentations. So if you look at two fundamental foundations in eShares, as you see that iShare CD standard team could develop and manage and govern standard metadata, and the sponsor and any user who has a certain membership are able to download those standard metadata. So iShare is only have access for certain group of people, and eShare is the one that who almost everybody can access to it. Since eShare is the one that we all use at this time, and let's take a look at the eShare. So eShare is a pretty much website that allowed sponsor download electronic CD standard metadata. And it is very easy to use. We're going to look at that, how it works. And you could also go to the direct link, cdisc.org/eShare-download, or you could go into CDISC website and go into membership only area. And it is only available for Gold and Platinum members at this moment. Then we all might be wondering why eShare is important, why actually we need it. eShare is one common area to find all the necessary CD standards. It is a one-stop area. And it has not only has a document as an implementation guide, but also has a machine-readable metadata in XML, RDF, and Excel format. And they are available to almost everyone who has a certain membership, such as programmers, statisticians, data managers, and CD standard subject matter expert. So eShare contained a couple of foundational standards that we discussed. It Yes, STTM-IG for the older versions, such as STTM-IG 3.2, 3.13, and 3.12. And also CDISC and medical device STTM-IG, and also pharmacovigilance STTM-IG as well too. And it has a control terminology for STTM, ADAM, and also SAND. And it has a probably last or 2 or 3 years control terminology in eSHARE. You can also find the ADAM and SAND and therapeutic area standards that we're going to see in our demo later in our presentations. So eSHARE also provides a couple different types. It provides a document such as implementation guide or user guide. And it also provides metadata as a machine readable content. And it also provides a bundle, which means the combination of standards. You could combine STTM and also control terminology. And STTM-IG for 3.2, STTM-IG also associate person STTM-IG. And one thing new in 3.2 STTM is that difference. eSHARE also provides the difference between 2 versions. We're going to talk about this one in demo, but it only provides the current version and previous version. So the version difference between STTM-IG 3.2 and 3.13. We're going to see this more detail in our demo. And for those who are not in really patient, just like I am, you can also take a look at the draft versions as a review. In some cases, if I don't have any certain standard that I can use in my work, I go into the full review part and take a look at whether anything is currently developing. So I can refer to those review and draft versions. So eSHARE also provides a certain format. CDISC for ODM.xml and STTM and control terminology using the define.xml. And then Excel format for CDISC, STTM, control terminology, and ADAM. This Excel metadata usually could be used as a machine readable metadata. And one thing really good about CDISC is that they always keep innovating. So we also take a look at new technology or emerging technology such as semantic technology. So control terminology also provide as RDF data format as well. And implementers guide and user guide are provided in the PDF format. So now we're going to switch the gear into the demo. And what we're going to show today is we're going to show how to log in and how to download some of the CDISC standard from eSHARE. And then we review that what is included in CDISC standard metadata. Oh, Manning, can you see me my screen for CDISC website?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Thanks. So now, when you go to CDISC website, you go into user login, and I log in as my Clindata Insight. Now I'm logging here. So you could go into direct link, but you could go into membership only area. As you see that on the right corner, you should eSHARE download. So let's go there. So eSHARE download a web page is contain some of the instructions and how to use in the upper part, and also contain some foundational standards such as CDISC, STTM, about scrolling down, SAND, atom in therapeutic area. So let's take a look at, or let's kind of download some example. Let's see that most recent version for STTMIG. Here we go. So you could download as a PDF format, such as document. If you download it, then right now you keep downloading. If you open this zip file, as you see that you have a STTMIG and also associate person STTMIG and also data model for 1.4. So in SHARE, you're able to look at implementation guide as a PDF document format. And also, you could download as an Excel, as a metadata, machine readable metadata. So let's take a look at what is in there in demographic. So if you just click this, if you just select the demographic, you could see that all those metadata could be STTMIG 3.2 supported. So you can using this, there were names and domain prefix and the label and type in your programming. So we're going to show this example later in use cases. But using this machine learning metadata, not only you could use it in person, but also a machine can read this one. And you could also have a different XML version, 2 different versions. And if you look at the bundle, let's take a look at this bundle, how it works. So if you download it, the zip file are 2 standard. One is for STTM versions, IG 3.2, and another one is actual control terminology at the time. And another thing that I'm very happy about the CDISC eSHARE is that it also provides the difference between current version and previous versions. 3.2 starting to using this one, and if you click this difference, and if you open that Excel file, let me enable the editing. Oops, where did it go? Here we go. So there are a couple actions, items here in this difference file. There is a add, which means that what is added new versions, and also remove what has been removed, and what has been updated. So let's take a look at what is added on new versions. So as you see that there are a couple domains are added, such as associate person DM in new version 3.2 from previous version 3.13. And then we also adding some of the control terminology here, and also variable. And so if you look at this difference file, that you are able to tell which domain or which variable are added from the previous versions. And if you look at the remove sections, you notice that certain variables are removed from STTMIG 3.13 to 3.2. So you might not want to use this anymore in new versions. And it also provides the update that what has been updated, such as note and definitions or control terminology. So this difference file, you're able to tell what has been added, what has been removed, and what has been updated. So it is a one-stop area to tell what basically changed from previous version to current versions. And also, if you look at other standards, and such as CDISC also provide ODM.XML versions. And also in control terminology, you have an Excel spreadsheet and also difference here, different.XML and Excel and RDF. and also ODM format. So let's go back to our presentations. Marlene, can you see that presentation now?
Yes.
Okay, great, thanks. So let's kind of talk about how we can use CDISC SHARE and what actually benefit us. In a way, what is the takeaway from our presentations? What is a practical use that we can use it? Previously, without the CDISC SHARE, you pretty much have to convert a lot of implementation guide as a manual conversions to machine-readable metadata. But as you see that eSHARE already has a machine-readable metadata, so we simply download it. So this information could be used as a metadata-driven process. Nowadays, metadata-driven process is very popular because it saves a lot of effort, times on clinical artifact development, such as SDTM and ADAM, or even report and analysis too. Using the CDISC eSHARE, you could simply download some of the machine-readable metadata, and then you can use that for your programming. For example, we could download the machine-readable metadata of IG 3.2 from CDISC SHARE. It has information such as domain prefix, variable names, and label, and other attribute. So we could use this attribute and apply to the variable name you're creating for DM dataset. So study ID label could be automatically applied by using the computer language, such as SAS. So you could use, it's a simple example, but in your shop, I'm sure that you can use this machine-readable metadata in many different ways. And also, CDISC eSHARE could be used metadata repository, actually simple metadata repository. About 10 years ago, I used to buy the CD and DVD all the time. And then those CD and DVD pretty much occupy one side of my room. It looks great, but I cannot actually take it, all the things, everywhere. When iTunes comes up, you don't need to space to store all the CD and DVD, and you could access music or DVD from everywhere. And also, you don't need to carry your CD or DVD everywhere either. So CDISC eSHARE is kind of simple metadata. You could still download and save, and in your certain area in your local drive and server. But you can also using CDISC SHARE as a simple MDR for industry MDR. So you could access from everywhere. You could access most updated information, and you could access most accurate information. And you could also access all the versions that CDISC provide. And you don't need to maintain the server or database, and you could download as needed. So what about those who have MDR solution in-house? Actually, I'm very excited about this pilot project. Right now, the CDISC SHARE and working with a couple MDR vendors to set up the REST API. And they're currently using that REST API to get the metadata from CDISC SHARE to their MDR systems. So if you compare between eSHARE and SHARE REST API, the eSHARE is pretty much manual download. But SHARE API, it has automatic programming access from shared to the MDR systems. So basically, the sponsor systems such as MDR or EDC send the HTTP requests through the internet using the REST API for CDISC SHARE. And CDISC SHARE provide that CDISC standard metadata. So personally, I'm very excited about this REST API pilot because MDR could automate data exchange with the CDISC SHARE. So not only saving time, but also it could accomplish true integrations between CDISC SHARE and in-house MDR system. Or it could be EDC, or it could be your SaaS environment. So MDR or this sponsor system could be more used for the industry. So for me, the CDISC SHARE is kind of like, it's kind of like iPhone. Through iPhone, you could access all the information, LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, all that through iPhone. So through CDISC SHARE, we could also access all the necessary CDISC standard. You don't need to go through, you don't need to search for it. It's a one-stop area, one common area. You could actually have all the things in one area. One of the most popular feature in iPhone is it is really easy to use. I mean, I have young children, and they know about iPhone as much as I do. Sometimes they find the things I never found before because it is simple to use for them. You could use them and they could figure things out. eSHARE is the same way too. It's a one simple process and it is very easy to use. So without proper instruction and trainings, anybody could use it, eSHARE, pretty much the first day. Another feature about iPhone is that it's still innovating. The one thing that I really exciting about CDISC SHARE is that they are actually developing SHARE REST API so that it could connect with not only MDR system, but also other systems as well too. As you all know that CDISC has a very good standards, and it could be used not only for our industry, but also other industries as well too. By having this CDISC SHARE REST API, this standard could be has a much more impact across the industry, but also outside industry as well. So I'm very excited about the SHARE REST API pilot projects, and I'm looking forward to it once that CDISC SHARE actually release those REST API. Yeah, actually, this is pretty much done in our presentations. We thank you all for joining our webinar. And then you could always contact us, not only for the SHARE, but also CDISC and any other thing about the industry. And you could contact us by email and also Facebook and also tweet as well too. So now I think we could be open for the questions.
Okay, thank you, Kevin. Remind everybody, please, if you have any questions, so please type it into the upper left-hand corner. You'll find the question box. I have a question right now for Kevin. Is the CDISC version the same as the SHARE version? For example, there are some variables such as race, which does not change from SDTM-IG 3.1.2 to 3.1.3. In this case, does the version of race follow the new SDTM-IG version, or does it stay as the current version?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. And so simple answer is that no, CDISC version does not follow CDISC SHARE version. CDISC SHARE has its own database system. So, for example, as you mentioned about the race, race doesn't change from SDTM-IG version 3.12 to 3.13. So this race version stays as it is, even though the IG version changed. So the IG version follow the whole package, but each individual variable and each individual domain, if there's nothing changed in DM or also any variable in DM, it stays the current version according to SHARE.
Okay, and then I have a second question. Can eSHARE be available to all members, not just for Gold and Platinum members?
I cannot speak for that CDISC, and currently it is only available for gold and platinum members. That is something that we might want to talk to CDISC, but at this moment it's only available for the gold and platinum members.
Okay. And then I have another question. Any idea by when SHARE API will be released for general use?
That's a good question. Actually, I'm looking forward that day as well too. And actually, I'm meeting the Sam Hume, the lead of the CDISC SHARE, on June 2nd in the few single day event. I'm going to talk about the MDR as well. MDR there too, and then Sam also going to be there. So I will ask Sam when this is going to be available. But right now, there are currently a couple companies testing the REST API, so I believe they will be available sometime soon.
Okay, sounds good. Let's see. So I would like to give a couple more minutes for anybody else who would like to submit a question. Please type it in to the question box at the upper left-hand corner. Okay, I have another question, Kevin. Are you able to share some success stories, how using SHARE metadata helped make study deliverables faster and better?
Yeah, actually, that's a good question because we kind of show in our presentation a little bit. Yeah, if you take a look at this metadata-driven process, and when you have that machine-readable metadata, then you are able to using this machine-readable metadata in your programming. So you don't need to write down the label or attribute of a certain variable, such as study ID. You could use, let's say using the SAS, you could use a SAS code to define the label of the study ID. But at the same time, if you actually have a machine metadata from the eSHARE, you could reading the label and then apply to directly to study ID. So you could using this metadata into any process, and then this could be the one good example to do so.
Okay, so let's give a couple more minutes. I know there probably are a few more questions out there. I'm just going to allow a little bit of time to have people type in their questions.
Mani, this presentation will be available for the public, right?
This presentation is recorded and it will be available, posted on our website.
Okay.
So I'll give another minute. Okay, maybe another 10 seconds if anybody else would like to type in a question. Okay, so if there are no more questions, this concludes the presentation. I encourage you to submit your questions even offline. If you would like us to answer any questions for you, please feel free to reach out, and Kevin will be happy to provide an answer to your questions. Thank you, Kevin, and thank you everyone for joining us today. As a reminder, the recorded webinar and PDF slides will be available on our website. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.